Okay, and over to you, V.
Lovely, thank you. Hi everybody, lovely to meet you all. So yes, that's right, I am a nutritional therapist and a health coach. Is it okay if I share my screen? I have some slides. I apologise in advance, they are not pretty, they are just text, but just for talking points. But if I share my screen, will
it let you?
Screen sharing needs to be enabled if possible, thank you.
Sharing. Right, it should let you do that now.
Lovely, yeah, perfect. Okay, can everybody see that?
We can.
Great, perfect. So packages and programs. So yeah, I'm a nutritional therapist and a coach. I also have an essential oils business. But I have a marketing background. So I came from originally traditional marketing, and then I moved into digital marketing, and I did that for many years. And then for various reasons, ill health myself, which I healed myself from, typical story. Most therapists have some sort of story like this. And I realized that actually, you know, my passion for natural health was huge and I wanted to share it with others. So I retrained. And that was, I qualified 5 years ago. So I have worked as a nutritional therapist and coach since then. But what I started to see was that, so when I started, from the word go, I always charged in packages. I've never, ever, apart from the odd, if the child, which I don't see very many children, but occasionally I'll have a client who has a child that they want to see, me to see, then I'll do one-off sessions. But with all my other clients, I've only ever done packages. And then after that, programs, which I'll explain the difference. And so for me, it just made financial sense. It made sense from a practicing perspective, from a client benefit perspective, and the value that they got. And because I came from that background, that marketing background, it made more sense to me. So what I wanted to do first of all was just ask everybody if they're happy to, you don't have to if you don't want to, but just to let me know, what do you do and how do you currently work and charge? Would everybody be happy to just sort of come off mute one by one and just tell everybody, because it will just help me with what I share. Would that be okay?
Yeah, sure.
Lovely. Julie, do you want to go first?
Yeah, so I'm a clinical hypnotherapist. I work in private practice with various specialties. So I tend to, I work very often with children. I do hypnobirthing programs and tend to work and specialise within stress and anxiety. But also do some teaching as well with Marcia on her courses.
Okay, great. And Marcia?
Hi. So I do hypnotherapy, counselling, NLP, and lots of other things. I'm currently just taking a bit of a sabbatical because I'm doing my masters, but I usually charge per client per session. But we do some packages. So we do like a slimming package, a stop smoking package, hypnobirthing package. So there's some packages, but usually it's per session.
Okay, brilliant. Shall I choose who goes next, because it's probably easier? Yeah. Lorraine, would you like to go now? I'm just going to go down my Zoom camera.
Hello, I'm a clinical hypnotherapist. I've not been working that long, probably about a year. I tend to do per session.
Okay, great. Who have we got next? Anna?
Hi. I am a life coach specializing in neuroscience and biology of emotions. I am working remotely, so via Zoom, Skype, well, online. And I have different ways of charging. For example, now I had the request to do a workshop about anxiety and how to take control of life because of what the current situation. Usually I have courses online on my website. I do one-to-one coaching in packages, and I do bio-neuro-emotion individual sessions if people want to just solve a problem.
Great, thank you. Carla?
I keep hypnobirthing, but I'm also studying to be a clinical hypnotherapist with Marcia and Julie. And I charge for the hypnobirthing as just the block for the whole course.
Okay. Virginia?
Hi, I'm a nutritional therapist also, just qualified earlier this year.
Great.
So I am charging in packages at the moment, or programs, so 12-week programs of 3 sessions, including checkups in between. And I plan to continue doing that if I can, apart from, the exceptional circumstances. So my focus is gut health, but also female hormones. So perimenopause, menopause, stress, quite a bit of stress, and anxiety at the moment, obviously, but just starting out.
Okay, great. Ros?
Hi, I'm a birth and postnatal doula. Loosely connected to therapy, but not therapist in the usual sense of the word. But basically, so I support women during pregnancy, sort of antenatally, throughout birth and postnatally. So I tend to sort of generally charge, they pay for a package which includes, contact throughout pregnancy and birth, and or postnatally. But I also offer sort of sessions, postnatal visits, particularly at an hourly rate. So doing that, but so sort of quite flexible when it comes to sort of offering a package of something or individual visits. Yeah.
Okay. Is that everybody? Have I missed anyone? Oh, Carol. Sorry, Carol.
That's okay. I'm currently a sister on a neonatal intensive care unit, looking after very sick and preterm babies. And I'm not actually up and running with my hypnotherapy business yet. I am taking some clients, but most of what I do will be covering what I work in is supporting parents with babies in neonatal intensive care unit, supporting NHS staff, breastfeeding, IVF, some anxiety. But I will be charging by the session, but it's not actually up and running yet. I'm giving free sessions until the end of lockdown, just to help with NHS staff and any anxiety that people have.
Great. Okay, lovely. Thank you. So there's a mixture, and there's already people working in packages, which is great. So first of all, what's wrong with the traditional model? I think when I came out of nutritional therapy school, and I think having spoken to lots of different therapists, most schools teach the model of pay as you go, so pay per session. And I don't know whether you had any business training with your particular courses. We had a little, but it was very limited. And it certainly didn't have much of an online focus. And it was coming from a marketing background, I saw that it was a little bit behind the times, shall I say. And I realized straight away that actually I didn't think it would serve my clients very well, because as a nutritional therapist, but I think with most therapies, just seeing a client once or perhaps twice doesn't really fulfill many people's needs. And I think that it makes it quite difficult to book the next session. I think therapists often find it quite difficult to sort of broach the subject of the next session, and often just leave it to the clients to make the next booking, which is not really helpful or beneficial to either party. it doesn't serve the clients, but also it creates very limited growth using the time for money model, because at the end of the day, we only have a certain number of hours in a week and a month. And so how do you grow that if you're just charging your time, your physical time per hour? Makes it very difficult. And you end up getting quite burnt out by it, especially if you get sort of full practice. You're doing full days just in order to make enough money, and you need more hours to grow, but obviously we can't create more hours in the day, much as we'd like to. So it's very hard to grow this thriving business. So we're often left feeling frustrated. I think that, you know, lots of therapists I've spoken to, frustrated that they can't work with their clients for long enough, or that their clients come, they get a certain way with them, but then they're not working with them long enough to really get that transformational change that they want to get with their clients. And when we work in a program and we're in a package, and when we you know, set out that package to our clients from the start, everybody knows where they are from the word go. The client knows what to expect. They know what they're going, and that doesn't mean that once, you know, that you know, some people will do a package and then they'll repeat it, but if you have been working with people for a long time, you generally know, you know, if whatever they're coming to you for. If somebody comes to me, you know, I do an intake call, I call it a discovery call, and on that call I will assess what's going on for them, and then from that I have a very good idea as to how long it's going to take for me to work with them to get you know, the results that we would hope for. Now, obviously, nothing's ever guaranteed. We can't sell results. No therapists can sell results, but we can work in a package which we know is going to give them enough time for you to work with them, so that you get you know, you have the potential to get the results that you need, or that they're wanting. And at the end of the day, it's what is the result that they want that is important. They come to you with wanting a result, they're wanting something, and you know how long and what sort of work that is going to entail. Now, I know as a nutritional therapist, and you know, a lot of the work that I do with my clients, the work has to come from them. So I'm not in control of the result. If they come to me and they're wanting to lose weight, for example, if they don't follow the steps and the instructions and etc., they're not going to get the result. But what I find is when I'm working with somebody over a longer period of time, compliance becomes much better. They like to be accountable to somebody, and it just creates a much better relationship, a better working relationship, rather than somebody just coming and working and saying, you know, just paying for a session and then hoping that they'll come for the next one. You know, as I said earlier, if we're working pay as you go constantly, we're frazzled and we just can't earn enough to really create that profitable business, and we feel left feeling frustrated, and also, you know, not really knowing how we can really step up and grow the business. So that's packages, and some people, I think some therapists struggle with the idea of initially selling the idea of a package. And it all comes down to the intake call and how you position it with your potential customers. Now, for me, I don't give an option. That is the option. They work with me I work in programs, and I'm going to explain the difference in a minute. But I explain the benefits of the program, and I make it very clear from the start, up front, that I work in programs. So there is not the offer of working one-to-one or programs. That is how I work. If they are a good fit with me, if they resonate with me, if they feel that I'm going to be able to help them to achieve whatever goal they want, then then they make that decision based on that. Either they are they're happy to pay the price that I charge, or they're not. And if they're not, then, you know, my view is that I'm not the right person for them, and they're not the right person for me. Some people will take an approach of, you can pay by session or you can pay in packages, and discount the packages to make it more more affordable. So, you know, if you pay by session, it's X amount, but if you book 6 sessions with me, then it, you know, works out cheaper per course. I'm sure, you know, those of you that are doing that already are already doing that. So there is another way to working, rather than just working one-to-one. It's packages, but also programs. I'm going to explain a little bit more about that. But packages, as I said, it means bundling sessions together, offering a discount. They can be tiered as well, so we can have tiered packages. And it just requires a change in your mindset as to how you charge. It comes down to what you believe and what you are comfortable with selling, and that comes down to what your beliefs are. And a lot of it comes from our training and our background and what everyone else is doing. And just because everyone else is selling one-off sessions doesn't mean that is the way that it has to be done. Somebody came up with that way of charging and that way of working. It was created by somebody. Doesn't mean that it's the right way to do it. So that is packages. In terms of the fears, does anybody have any fears around this, around charging in packages? These are some of the things that I have, I get told when I talk to people about this. My clients expect to pay as they go. I can't work in packages. I can't guarantee results. I don't feel comfortable offering this. My clinic charges this way. Is there anything else that anybody wanted to add of fears around this, or is everybody quite comfortable with the idea of charging in packages?
Well, I think it's not mostly about fear. I think it might be more about self-worth. People are in doubt of what they should charge, because they fear, well, then there's the fear that their clients will not pay. It's the same thing,
isn't it? The fear comes from definitely self-doubt is involved, absolutely.
Yeah, but if the clients can't pay, it's because they are with the wrong clients. Yeah, that's what I feel. So I don't want clients to ask me for discounts every time and want to pay like £10 each day or something like that. So I think it's more about knowing who are your clients, because if you offer one day, you have to offer for all of them, and then you feel uncomfortable.
Yeah, thank you, Anna. Yeah, I think self-doubt definitely comes into it. Doubting whether going from charging one-off sessions, it feels a lot more comfortable, doesn't it, to say, I charge £50 per hour, or I charge £80 per hour, or £100 per hour, or whatever you charge. But then to multiply that for, say, 6 sessions can feel to us like quite a huge amount of money, or a large amount of money. And if we think that's a large amount of money, then energetically we're going to be conveying that to our clients. We can't ever assume or guess or know what our clients will and won't pay, can and can't afford. That is purely down to our thought and what we think is possible. And time and time again, I have worked with people who have doubted that they can do it, and then when they've actually offered it and offered everything else that comes with it, clients are very happy to pay that, because they know how long, they know that, you know, there's a fight, they know the price up front, rather than, oh, you know, I come for one session, how long is this going to go on for? Am I going to be doing this in 6 months or a year's time? So, you know, if we have doubts about it, it comes from our own thoughts and our beliefs rather than actual truth. Has anyone else got anything else that they feel uncomfortable about?
Mine would is sort of getting the client to know that it is worth that. I'm not really salesy, but I know that it's worth it, but I don't know how to make them know it's worth it. Mm-hmm. If you know what I mean?
Yeah. That comes from the discovery call, the sales conversation. And I absolutely am not salesy. And I used to say, oh, I can't sell, I don't want to sell. And then, you know, when I realized that it's not selling, well, we are selling, but that doesn't mean we are salesy, because people are coming to buy from us. The reason they're having a conversation with us is because they want to buy from us. So we are selling, but selling doesn't need to be salesy. I think we have the idea of the car salesman, don't we, in our back of our mind. I don't want to sound like a, you know, pushy car salesman. I don't want to be pushy. But there are ways to do that, which is what I teach people. And it's once you've mastered a process with a sales call, and you've actually, you know, following a script. That doesn't mean that you're reading from a script, but there's a process of questions that you ask in order to lead the client to a point where they know this is the right thing for them to do. That's how you eliminate that feeling of, can I convince a client to want to do it? Because you don't need to convince them. They convince themselves by the process of that conversation. Anybody else?
I was just going to say, if you do have a program, so that it's say 6 sessions or whatever, then it's the question of whether you allow them to pay by installments or not. If it's, you know, say your 6 sessions is £450 or whatever, you know, do you give them that option to make it easier? But then is that sort of undermining the value concept in their mind? You know, or sort of questioning whether they're willing to pay, if you see what I mean.
Well, there's different views on that. My view is that if somebody wants to work with me, but they don't have the amount, you know, upfront to pay, not everyone does, not everyone has savings. Some people need to pay it from their salary. And so offering it over a period of time, if it opens up the possibility for them to be able to do that, then I think absolutely. What I do is I set it up so that it's a payment set up through a payment provider, and it's set so that it automatically charges them, so that I'm not having to then go and take the payment from them, because that is an uncomfortable conversation, and you know, we don't want to have to do that. And the other thing I do is that I charge more if somebody is splitting the payments. Not a huge amount more, but there is an admin cost. So I pass that on, and so it's an easy decision for somebody to make. If they haven't got the funds, then they're going to go for the split payments, and if they have, they're going to go for the one-off payment because it's cheaper on the whole. Yeah. Does that answer your question, Virginia?
Yeah, that's helpful. Thanks.
Great. Okay. And so yeah, packages for me. It's a no-brainer. It gives enough time to work with clients to actually see the tangible results. You know, for me, a one-off session, nutritional therapy, is pretty pointless because there's no follow-up. And, you know, if somebody's coming to me, they've got to make changes. to their diet. You know, often there's supplementation. There's lots of there's a process for them to follow. One session is never going to be enough. So for me, for the way I work, but also for the way a lot of you know, hypnotherapy, I know that you know, I mean, I don't know huge amounts about it. I know you can get very quick results, but also it can take longer. And as professionals, you know what that looks like. It's a way that feels good for your clients, but also avoids overwhelm. Okay, giving somebody a longer period of time to make those changes. I know nutritional therapists who do one session and then just end up, so they do one session and they throw everything at the client in one session. Literally everything. And then they write them like a 5-page report and send it to the client, and then wonder why they never hear from the client again. Well, firstly, it's complete overwhelm for the client. They cannot possibly do that themselves. They look at it all and they're like, where do I start? They're not going to come back and book another session with you, because that's not how you know, how we work. But also from the practitioner's perspective, they've spent time ahead of the call, ahead of the session, preparing. Then they've done the session, and then they've spent goodness knows how long writing a report, all for, you know, £100 or whatever they charge for the first session. And it's not viable. It gives a way to really charge your true value, but it also improves the consistency and the predictability of your income, you know, which is really important, because as therapists, you know, we've got to make a living too. Okay. So on to programs. So programs can be different to packages. So packages is basically packaging your one-offs, your individual sessions into a package. Programs is different. They can be offline, they can be online, or they can be a mixture of both. And I really encourage people to at least do a mixture of both. I know that some therapies obviously need a hands-on approach, but even those that need a hands-on approach, there are elements of what you teach that can be taught online, and I'll explain more. That you can draw on all of your services that you offer, your knowledge and your skill set. So rather than somebody, so say you practice NLP and you practice hypnotherapy, and you also do, I don't know, something else, and somebody just comes and books a session for hypnotherapy. What a program does is, rather than looking at sessions and individual modalities, it gives it you're working with somebody to achieve a result, and whatever that result is, you pull on the resources, the knowledge and the services that you offer to create that program. Okay, does that make sense? Hopefully it'll make sense in a little bit more as we go on. So a signature program is what I really recommend people create. It's a money-making health transformation business, in my opinion, needs a signature program, which can be turned into a group program that features your proven methodology. Okay, the one that you know works because you do this on a regular basis with your clients one-to-one, and that solves one painful problem for your ideal clients. Now, this is where people often get unstuck, because if you work in a modality which deals with loads of different, so as a hypnotherapist, I'm sure that you can work with people for lots of different things. Yeah, well, I know you can. You can help people with smoking, you can help people with anxiety, you can help, you know, all sorts of things. And if you have been working in that way and offering your services to basically anybody who wants them, to come to focus on one problem can be very difficult. But if you want to create a signature program and you want it to be successful, I really recommend focusing on one painful problem and choosing one ideal client. Okay, so because the reason being, if you're trying to talk to everybody about everything that you do, especially online, when they're scrolling through their news feed on social media or wherever it is, you're not going to catch their attention because you're not talking specifically to them. Okay. So what does a signature program offer? It's an opportunity to work with a group of people, but also one-to-one. You create it once and then you offer it in a variety of ways. So you only have to create this once. You can spend time tweaking it. I tweak mine, I add to it. Mine is offered, people have lifetime access to it, and any updates I make to it, any additional materials I give, they get those as part of it. So it's, that's part of the benefits of it. It earns you revenue when you take time off. If you set it up the right way, you can still earn revenue when you're not working. And it allows you to, of course, if you're working online, have an impact beyond your local community, because people can sign up for your program from anywhere. Doesn't matter where they're based. That's the wonderful benefits of working online. So how does it work? It is a step-by-step program using your methodology. It's an actionable methodology. And I encourage people to do 40% learning and 60% action, because people don't just want to learn, they need to actually take the action too. It provides a transformational solution for the problem that your ideal client wants to get rid of. And it's something that you become known for. That you become known for delivering a specific outcome for a specific group of people. And it's based on your ideal client. And that's something that, if clients are working with me, we work through that ideal client, getting that right. Because sometimes it's very, I think with therapists, because of the way we're trained to be able to work with anybody for a huge variety of health issues. For me, I specialise in women's health and hormones, specifically perimenopause and menopause. And I chose that because that is my ideal client. That is the clients that that's basically my ideal client. That's who I work with. And so for me, working with women in their 40s, I'm in my 40s, I'm going through perimenopause. It made the absolute most sense to me to be working with people in that, in that group. So that's my ideal clients. But for you, it could be teenagers, it could be, it might be mums, new mums, it might be people who are trying to give up smoking, it might, there's so many different things. That doesn't mean that you have to hang your hat on this for the rest of your working days. This is just where you start. Okay. So if a client wants to work with you, they can work with you one-to-one and pay a higher ticket price for the privilege. But what you can do is you can offer a pay-as-you-go version. You can offer a group version, which has some access to you, but not one-to-one, and then a higher ticket high ticket price program, which gives you the privilege of working with you one-to-one. So with my clients, for example, if somebody's got really suffering with their hormones, I know that we need to do testing, etc. That's the one that they're going to go for, the one-to-one. They still work through the same online program. They still have it, so I don't have to teach all that stuff because I've created it and it's ready. But they can. But so that takes away a lot of the work, because it means I'm not having to constantly teach the same stuff over and over again, because they do that in their own time. And the benefits of a group is that they have the community. You can just set it up in lots of different ways, and they can have access to you, ask you questions, but you're not giving tailored advice, personalized advice. And it uses your foundational methodology, which you work with it all the time. You use a foundational methodology. It's just taking that and putting it into an online program. So I sometimes get asked things like, I need to lay hands on my clients, or I'm licensed and bound by regulations. Can I still do this? You can. You just provide the educational content. You don't make personalized recommendations, but you provide anything that can be found in the public domain, and you have a disclaimer. That said, with my work, we're regulated, but I have more flexibility than some. However, so I'm not licensed. However, I don't give personalized one-to-one help with anybody that I am not working with one-to-one, because I haven't done a full, I'm not going to recommend, apart from generic supplements, I'm not going to recommend specifics to somebody in my group, or on these, the self-service program, because that would be irresponsible. But if they're working with me one-to-one, they still do all the other stuff. They go through the program, but then I can do the normal thing I would do on a one-to-one program. Okay. So that's the end of my presentation, and just some, if you want to get in contact with me afterwards, if you want to follow me, or so I have a Facebook group. I'm on Facebook. I'm Vanessa O'Brien rather than V O'Brien. I'm in the therapist group, obviously, so you'll find me there, but under Vanessa O'Brien. And if anybody wants to book a call with me and have a chat about anything, then you are more than welcome to. Has anybody got any questions? I'm going to stop sharing.
In terms of making programs, that sort of, when you said you don't have to teach it, you can just send it out, sort of the non-tailored, what kind of thing do you use to do that? Is that videos or slides, or what?
So it completely varies. So my personal program is made up of lots of different things. So it's videos and PDF downloads, and some people will do audios. There's all sorts of things that you can provide. So if you do meditation, you could put in meditation audios. The training, I like to do videos, a lot of it, because people like to see you and connect with you, and not just read. But then there's PDF downloads that they can download easily, and then worksheets and so on and so forth. And it's a methodology, so it's a process that you take, that they go through. And it takes time to create it, but all that time you put in, you do it once. And depends on how deep and how big the program is. I say to people, don't try and cure everything. I know we can't cure, but you know what I mean. Don't try and do everything. People get overwhelmed. They don't want that. It might be that they've got, you might specialize in sleep, so sleep might be your speciality, or, Anybody else?
Can I ask Fee what systems you use? Do you have like a membership site, or YouTube? Do you use?
Oh, for my platform, yeah. There's various ones, and different people use different ones. I always recommend using a program platform, because they are just the way that the material is presented, and then there's a process, and there's people can see where they've got to. There's a progress state, bar, and they can see how far they've gone, etc., etc. You have to pay for them, but they're not very expensive at the lowest levels. And obviously, as you scale, then you'll want to scale. But when you're starting off, it's fairly inexpensive. And for me, I think it's definitely better to use some people try and do it on their own website. And, like I use Weebly as my website platform, and there's a members area, but it's not ideal for creating a program. So, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else?
Hi, it's Virginia.
Hi.
It's interesting that so for your one-to-one clients, you make them go through the training program online as well as then, so then you're giving additional advice in relation in the one-to-one sessions. And is that because you're sort of uniform, giving a uniform strategy to everything? Is that sort of why you're taking that approach? I mean, it's interesting, I hadn't realized.
Well, because my ideal clients are all the same there. So my ideal clients are women of kind of perimenopausal age.
Yeah.
And so from the basic nutrition perspective, the foundations are all going to be the same.
Yeah.
They've all got to get the food right. They've all got to deal with their stress. And they've all got to get their hormones in balance.
Yeah.
And so it just saves on having to teach it over and over and over again.
Yeah. And do you make them do the course first and then you have the sessions in between, the one-on-one on top, or no?
No, they just do it as we go through. And actually what I do is I guide them to the bits that so they might jump around the program rather than go through it.
Okay.
Some of them want to just go through it in order. That's fine. I suss out what their personality's like.
Yeah, okay.
Because they're working with me bespoke, they get a bespoke approach. So, you know, they get handheld right the way through it. They get extra stuff added, you know, I'll send them extra stuff. We're probably going to be testing something, you know, so it's a different approach, but it just means it's that core bit that they work through, and I don't have to teach it all. And then they've also got access to it all afterwards.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else? No?
Okay, well, thank you, V. Is there no more questions? No. Thank you very much. It's very informative. Pleasure. It's been something I've been meaning to do for a long, long time. And yeah, that's been really helpful to hear how you do it. So really good. Thank you.
Lovely. Thank you. If anybody wants to chat to me about it, then please, just reach out to me and we can arrange a call.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
I'm just going to switch off the record now. Thank you, V. That was really, really good.
It's very clarifying because there are some bits that